relationships and romantic relationships, getting into why the West is screwed up and why so many guys are single nowadays. I would like to sleep with you right now. Let's go. Leonardo DiCaprio. They hate him because this guy, when she's 25, she's expired. She's going to change for next one.
Going with the feminist principles, which means that they are independent, they are financially secure within themselves, they've got things going for them.
The biggest beneficiary is our women, because when a guy completely gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it also depends too. So, I mean, it could be like,
oh,
hello.
It's starting.
Ciao.
Kassy,
well, actually,
say hello to my audience.
Hello, how are you?
So guys, we met a few days ago and we had a spicy discussion about all sorts of things, and we thought we had to repeat that today. It's because it was so good. We didn't really agree on everything or on anything.
No.
And so let's just walk over there. So basically we were talking about guys and women and men, about dating and all sorts of controversial topics. What were we talking about?
You were talking about how...
I said why guys end up, because actually that's where you agreed with me, because I said a lot of guys, they're just fed up and they end up leaving the West and then they go elsewhere. You sort of said, yeah, that might be true. Am I right?
Right.
But then we disagreed on other stuff, right?
Okay, let's go here. But hold on, you have to be specific about what type of guys and why they're leaving and why they're fed up.
Yeah, well that's hard to do because...
No, not really. It was because you were like how women have got all these, they're so picky. If you're 6 foot, then you're not gonna get a woman because she wants this and she wants that. And I was like, no, this is some women and some men, and it just depends. You can't just every woman in a box and no, like I can't put every man in a box. But you were like, no, women are like this and they're like that and they require this and they want this and they want that.
Yeah, so my bold statement was basically that social media destroyed womanhood. We were getting into why the West is screwed up and why so many guys are single nowadays.
That's it. Yeah.
Because I basically said, okay, 60% of guys are now single.
Yeah, and you were trying to blame it on women for some reason.
That was actually, I would rather blame not women as human beings, but I would actually say a lot of women are too much entitled nowadays because they get fed up. I mean, they get I told you about this feminist like ideology that is behind all that, and then so a lot of guys, they fall into this belief that they have to simp their way into the bedroom with women, which doesn't really work. And so a lot of guys, they don't even know how to be a desirable man, because it's also because you said that guys, they just need to be better, they need to be working on themselves, and this is where I agreed with you, which is true.
Right. And I also said females and women too. It's not just guys, it's women as well.
Yeah, my objection to that was the problem is that most guys know this intuitively, that they have to work on themselves. They're getting told since they're very small that they're these princesses and that everything is great about them, and self-help books for women are so different. They have this laundry list of demands from men, like 6 feet tall, 6-pack abs, 6-figure business, and then they have this feminist belief system, and then have a career, and then they're 35 and end up being Catwoman.
See, this is what, but this is what I don't understand, because men will also have a laundry list of requirements.
No, we're actually quite simple.
And I remember this is what you were trying to say. But then at the end of the day, I feel like a woman who's working on herself, a man who's working on himself, you will attract the right mate or the right person for you. And then at the end of the day, the foundation really should be love, and then everything else around it. You know what I mean?
Unconditional love, and I would argue that is only existent when you have between your mother and a child.
That's exactly what you said.
But not between relationships, and romantic relationships especially. They're actually transactional, because if I don't provide you as a guy with a sense of security, provision, a future, because women very much select men based on exactly that. Like if a man has not his shit together, he's just not attractive to a woman. Men are very different, because we do not choose women based on what your career is, how much you can provide. We couldn't care less, and which is why a lot of women are just delusional.
I see, this is where I disagree with you, because you're using lots of blanket statements and stereotypes. Some women do date down, some women do date for love, some women aren't looking for transactional relationships or what they can get from a guy. Some women aren't looking for just the money and if the security and whatnot. And like you said, if some women are going with the feminist principles, which means that they are independent, they are financially secure within themselves, they've got things going for them, they're not going to be looking for that particular type of man to do that for them. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, these are all blanket statements. Maybe the women you've come come in contact with are like that. And I'm not saying they don't exist, just like men, but you can't paint everyone like it. Like, there are different types of women, different types of men. Just like, for example, in society, you encounter somebody, let's say, who's of a lower class, they're gonna act in a certain way. They're gonna do different things. They're gonna have certain jobs. They're gonna talk in a certain way. They're gonna eat certain foods. They're gonna be around certain people. They're gonna have certain types of entertainment that they like, okay? And it's gonna be very similar across the board. Not all the time, but the same with working class, upper class, and whatever. But everybody at a different level of frequency and energy is completely different. Their level of consciousness and thoughts and the way they choose a mate is completely different. Completely different. And a woman, you never know, or a man who's single, it could be, for example, they've had certain traumas in their life, they've had certain issues that they need to get through, they need to do certain healing. Maybe they just want to be single for that moment in time. Some people don't want to be in a relationship. They don't feel like they need to have that completion. It's completely like individual, and yeah, it's individual and unique.
I get what you're saying. I actually agree that of course there are nuances and that not everybody is the same. But, and here's a big but, because it does make sense, because we're not talking about one person or a specific guy. We're talking about in general. And when we talk about societal issues that require that you look at those like issues in a way that it's comprehensive, it makes sense to generalize. Of course not. It doesn't mean that 100% of women are like that. No, but it does mean that if you ask 100 women, that probably 90 women would like to have a guy that is taller than her, leader, makes more money. That is true for most women. Not for all, but for most. This is a big difference, and it's important because we're talking about generality. Because you cannot say, this in the same way you can't say, for example, there's always exceptions to a rule, right? Especially in a world like that. But
exactly, I understand where you're coming from, so I'm not saying you're wrong entirely. I'm just saying that a certain type of person is going to think like that at their certain consciousness and level, and that's it.
Yeah, but now understand where I'm coming from, because
I do.
If I write, for example, if I try to create content for guys talking about whatever issues and including dating, then I'm not going to talk about the exceptions. I'm going to talk about the generalities, because they want to know, how do I prepare for that? Guys have different priorities than women do, actually. And this is where delusion comes in, I think, and comes from this feminist mindset that we are somehow egalitarian, all the same. No, we're not. We value different things. Men, and this is where I find this offensive and annoying, that when we talk about what women want, we always have for a woman to want a guy who makes a lot of money, who looks like that, he's tall, and you can check Tinder. It's amazing how open and women, how usually they don't hide that. It's open to everyone to see. But when a guy says, I don't want to date a woman that is over 25 years old, then that is offensive to women, because they say, oh, this is so predatory. It's just bullshit.
I really disagree with you, because for example,
I know,
throughout Hollywood, throughout Bollywood, throughout whatever Nollywood, whatever you're watching, it's completely always from the male gaze and completely from their point of view of what they want. So I don't really understand like what you're talking about is all women this and women that and feminist movement and all that kind of thing.
because it's okay for women to have preferences, but whenever a guy has preferences, like look at Leonardo DiCaprio, they hate him because this guy, when she's 25, she's
right?
Expired. She's gonna change for next one.
I mean, but seriously, think about it. That's kind of weird. It's weird. It's not like they hate him.
You know why he does that? Because he can.
Okay, so
because
you're saying
most
if
guys,
every guy could do that, he would do that.
But
by the time he would, well, that's the thing.
Most guys,
so individual though. You can't say that.
Actually, most guys, and this is why it's important, society, because that's why.
I don't agree with you.
Most guys are like that.
No, they're not.
I know you don't agree with it, but in this case, you're just gonna have me benefit of the doubt. We're talking. You don't have to agree, but this is my position, and
okay.
Most guys know that this is true. But women have also, this term hypergamous. This is also unique to women, and this is why we many years ago, in decades, centuries ago, they came up with stuff like marriage to make sure that guys don't do that.
I can understand this. I'm not saying that polygamy is wrong or having more than one partner is wrong. All I'm trying to say is that there are guys who exist and there are women who do exist who actually want their soulmate, who want that love and who want to experience that. And I've actually met guys like that, and they're like, no, I really want that connection, I want that love, and I want that relationship.
Yeah,
and also you've got to remember, people change, and it depends on where you are in life, your age, all types of things, everything.
Yes, and then there's values, and we can also
everything. Completely changes.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, attraction is not a choice. And when you talk about attraction, this is like electricity. It just is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and where your attraction goes.
I disagree with you because people can be programmed to be attracted to certain things. Just like in society,
That's
like,
false.
no, it's not. Just
It
like
is.
no, it's not. Just like you're constantly being bombarded by, for example, this is what the ideal female will look like, and anything outside of this standard of beauty is ugly or devoid of beauty. Everyone can be programmed.
I totally disagree.
No,
it's actually
not. It's like literally, like you can literally reprogram your subconscious beliefs to become more confident, more attractive, more pretty, whatever.
that's something different.
No, it's not
No.
different because it's still programming. We're literally humans, but we're also almost like robots in a way as well. You can reprogram yourself, and guys and people, women, whoever, society are programmed in certain ways unless you break out of that.
I'll give you some credit for saying that you can work in a work, and you might even end up being, some people can through conscious effort, maybe, I don't know if it's possible to change your tastes or
I think so.
or your preferences.
Absolutely.
I think for most people it's not possible.
No, it's absolutely possible. Do you know why?
Well, I just disagree here.
No, I don't.
And
Do
I
you know
know-
why? Because from experience, I've experienced this. I remember growing up thinking I'm going to be going out with a certain type of guy. He's going to be looking like this. My child is going to be
Let's
looking
continue
like that.
walking.
Yeah, but it's funny because every time I'm speaking, we have to walk. But every time you speak, we have to stay
Because I'm
active.
concentrated.
Yeah, but that's annoying. No,
Sorry.
concentrate on me.
Okay, we want to stand here. Let's stand here. Okay, all right.
So I was in a relationship with my partner, who was my long-term partner for like long time, nearly a decade, and it was complete opposite of what I thought I would go out with. So a lot of the time this does happen. You think, oh, I'm going to be with this person, this is what my family's going to look like, this is what's going to be happening, and this is what my life is going to look like, and it takes a complete U-turn. And then just from that experience, it opened my eyes up to different types of attractions of different types of people. And do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you say, but I still disagree. And
You know what I'm saying, but you still
Yeah, I mean,
even though it's my first-hand experience. It's my first-hand experience, and you disagree with my first-hand experience.
No, I don't disagree with your experience. I do think that what I'm saying is not necessarily opposed to what your experience. I just say that like humans are generally attracted to things without having a choice. That's what I'm saying.
So they're basically puppets on a string, which basically means they can be programmed and told what to like. So it already goes back to my point before.
I know this to be true because not only because my interest has been in that topic for a long time, but also my best friends, like they are dating coaches. Like I have got Alvaro Reyes, you can look him up in Google. It's a guy with almost 2 million followers on YouTube. I've made his videos, I've worked with him. People are just attracted, like it's like an electricity switch. If I present a really hot girl and she walks down the street, there's a guy and she's instant.
I understand what you're talking
and
about.
this is
There the
not a choice.
chemistry and the spark and the magic, and also that sexual attraction too. But there's also a difference as well. There's love where you're like, yeah, man, my biological part is really digging this. But then there's also the part where it's your heart, where you're like, no, there's something else, there's something more. Do you see what I'm saying?
This is a different topic. I'm just saying that the biological part of us, when it comes to sexual attraction, arousal, that is not a choice.
Okay.
That is prime. This is hardwired right here.
Okay.
You don't have a choice over that. It's just there.
Okay.
Or it's not.
Right.
This is why you cannot negotiate real desire. Impossible. You cannot sit in front of a guy, and if you're not attracted to him, he cannot talk you into the bedroom.
Right.
Cannot.
Yeah,
It's
because
just
you've
impossible.
already put up a block
Doesn't
limit,
work.
there's nothing there.
Logic does not work.
Right,
it's
right.
just a fucking primal feeling in your guts,
Okay.
and you have it or you don't. Like electricity, on, off.
But it's interesting because have you ever been attracted to someone, like a woman or whatever, and
A shitload of times.
Okay, but then no, wait, hold up. But then suddenly maybe there's something that she does, or you're just so turned off by her that with a switch that attraction just went.
Yeah, that goes off.
Right,
I don't know.
exactly,
Yeah, because
so
they can
it
use
so it can go on and on.
women can, for example, I know for a fact that women cannot be attracted to a guy to whom they don't respect. Respect is like the primary. It's a requisite. You cannot be attracted to a guy you don't respect.
Yeah.
Impossible.
I agree.
It's just impossible. Now we have to discussion was how did we end up here?
We need to walk to find out.
So let's walk this way to the lake.
Okay.
And so so we don't have an agreement now.
We don't or we do.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. I kind of feel like
Okay.
what you're saying is never really wrong. It's just describing a certain type of guy at a certain type of point of his consciousness, and that's it. And I'm just describing also another possibility, but it's both coexisting, like what you said.
Finishing your point before I inject yours.
What you mean just now?
Yeah, did I interrupt you?
No, I actually managed to finish it, and then you went to your hermit crab.
Yeah, because you just mentioned something and I went click, and so I now.
Tinder, an account, and women having more.
Yeah,
options.
so what has happened, so the problem is that dating is broken. Dating especially for guys is broken because the last 20 years have had a huge impact on gender. I remember this because I'm 46, and when I started dating before social media was a thing, and it really has changed everything because like 20 years ago only guys guys and girls, when they wanted to hook up, villages or cities or towns, they would just have a social circle, and then maybe you would be introduced to a friend, and you go to, I don't know, sports or whatever, and there was a very limited amount of options that were available to dating, right?
So you just took what you got.
Well, not necessarily, but it was like the natural way to go was that people would meet each other. There would be a normal like courtship process or whatever. Like it was like that was how it has worked for the whole human history, right? What then happened is that social media came, and especially Instagram. The thing is that since we discussed that men value different things that women value, men have an overemphasis on beauty.
Yeah.
So we really like fertility, beauty. We look for those genes that a woman has, like for, if you look it through a genetic perspective or biological perspective, like men, if you want to look at it like from in the animal kingdom, right? Spread the seed and go look for the best. Women do this too, but they look for different things, provision, security, because back then it was difficult for a woman. In the past, she had to make sure that she was safe, right? She needed a guy who would be capable and stuff like that. So, but men focus on beauty, and then so Instagram has made this agency of beauty, this woman like this superpower, because now a woman can attract, if you're a reasonable, attractive woman, and you are one. You said you don't have Tinder, right?
No.
Okay.
I've never had Tinder.
I promised you that if you open a Tinder account, I can make you, with my professional camera photos here, I get you 1,000 matches in less than a week.
Do you want to put a bet on that?
Yeah.
All right.
If a guy does it, and then he's just average, then probably not even 5 matches or even none. Like most guys don't get laid on dating apps anymore.
Okay, so it's the same concept. You have to be a hot guy to get girls, and you have to be a hot girl to get guys.
Women really, the Tinder stats are brutal. Like they only swipe. Women usually don't swipe on guys. On most guys, they just left swipe. Only 5 or 10% of the guys. Guys swipe differently. They swipe like 50% of the times. They say yes because we're more, I don't know, we're just different. And so the power has shifted to women also with the feminists. What we're talking about, how this whole thing. So a lot of guys are just not. They're desperate. Yeah, they become this incel energy. A lot of guys are just desperate. And you know this is true because there are a lot of desperate guys out there. They call them incels, which you know what incel means? No?
No, I've never come across that term.
Well, an incel, they use this as like almost as if it was a terrorist or something like that. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. When they talk about incels, you know what the term actually means?
No.
It means involuntary celibate.
Okay.
So, in other words, they just can't get laid.
Well, you know what? I really feel like
I
really feel like guys and women who make up these excuses about they can't get anyone, they're just making excuses, literally. Like there is someone for everyone. I have seen women who
that's not true.
That is true. I have seen women who are overweight with guys. I've seen men who are skinny with their ideal partner. I've seen guys who are ugly with their ideal partner. I've seen men and women who've got missing teeth with their ideal partner. Like there literally is someone for everyone, and you can find someone. I know someone, my good friend, who is gorgeous, absolutely wonderful. Like he literally could be a model, and I kept telling him, why don't you become a model, get your pictures out there, and he kept telling me, nah, I'm not gonna do it. Now this guy literally keeps telling himself it's hard for today, it's hard to get women, it's hard to do this, and you know what, that stops him from maybe approaching a woman, that stops him from going out there and talking to that woman. So it's because of the stories and narratives he's got in his head. It's not the truth.
I would say, yeah, you're right. You can actually, there's obviously your mindset is always the most important.
Of course.
Yeah, that's true.
What, sorry, seriously, look at people like Jack Black or Ed Sheeran, or people who I don't think they're attractive, but someone does because they're all married. Joe Rogan's married. I'm sorry. So you may say, oh, it could be for their money. You never know. It could also be for their love and personality, for the heart too. Yeah, but they're married.
Yeah, mindset is absolutely important.
Yeah.
You're right about that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that for guys, like physics or aesthetics are not that important, because you can be a super aesthetic guy, you can be a super hot model, and then if you're not able to walk up to a woman and be confident and tell her that you want to go out with her, you're still not gonna get laid.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But a woman, that's not the case. A woman can be like a 10, like physical. She doesn't even have to speak. She can get laid.
Well, this is the thing. I honestly believe, like, even if you were, let's say, a 3
do you see
or
the
a 4,
difference?
or no, because it literally is mindset, mind over matter. If you carry yourself like a 10 and you are a 4.5, if you dress like a 10, if you're confident like a 10, you're eloquent, you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you have that magnetic energy, damn, you're gonna get laid. Okay, it's everything. It's your belief. It's everything. What's going on? So I have no time for this victim mentality. I really don't.
I'm not advocating for a victim mentality.
I feel like it is.
No, I just.
Poor us the guys, it's the feminists. Oh no.
No. I just agree with you when you said that the mentality is, of course, the most important thing. And if you make yourself a victim and you don't work on yourself and try to be better, then of course you don't deserve anything better, right?
Right.
But I can also, we're at this point where two things can be true at the same time.
Exactly.
Because of course this is important, but then it's still true what I'm saying. Like for women, it's a different experience, especially in dating. Women have a completely different experience when it comes to dating.
I mean, they do, but you make it sound like women, they have all these choices and everything. Yeah, okay, they may all be all these choices. Yeah, but you're also forgetting about the women who maybe they're picking the men who are really bad for them, who, you know, abuse them, who are narcissists and whatnot, who they don't have good relationships with, the men who use them and so forth. Do you see what I'm saying? So,
yeah, you know what the equivalence is? For men to get laid, what men need to do to get like the first commitment, get in the foot into the door and get a date and get laid, that difficulty for women is getting a commitment.
No, but it depends, because look at the key thing you said, the key phrase you said, for a man to get laid, which means what? He just wants to fuck, okay? Cool. There are some women out there who just want to fuck too. They want to have a good time.
Yeah, but they still want...
No. There are some women who literally want to have a good time physically. If a guy, I'm telling you now, to all the guys out there in the world, in the universe, if you were around a woman, you're talking with her and whatever, and you put your game on her and you said, look, I find you extremely attractive, I'm going to do X, Y, Z to you and blah, 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 and you give her a choice, yes or no, she's got a choice, say, like, be upfront about it.
It happens.
Don't play games.
I'm going to tell you an
games.
I'm going to tell you an
But she can also, she can also say, actually, no, that's not what I want. I'm looking for a long-term committed relationship, marriage, children, the whole 9 yards. Do you see what I'm saying? Just be upfront and be truthful.
Yeah, you can say that, and it's true.
Yeah.
It can happen. It has happened to me once. I have an anecdote here to share. I was walking with my dad in Mexico, and we were like in a small village close to 2 hours away from Mexico City. It was really beautiful. There was a pyramid, and we were walking on the street, and I was like, hey, let's go, la la la, with my dad. Suddenly, there was a woman, a girl. She came across the street, walked up to me, and she asked me if she could kiss me on my, like, right there with my dad next.
Are you serious?
And she kissed me. And this,
God.
This is the only time I ever had happened something like that to me. Yeah, it happens, but it's really rare. And there's, I want to give you now.
Oh my God! But it
listen.
So...
Not finished. Just wait a second.
Okay.
There is a social experiment that proves my point, and it's on YouTube. You can go. Basically, what they did, they took a guy, and this guy he approached 100 women, and then they took a woman, and she approached 100 men, and they both said exactly the same thing. They said, hey, I would like to sleep with you right now. Let's go. And for the guy, you know how many yes answers he got? I think
probably 0.
Yeah, and you know how many the woman got? Yeah, 90%.
Yeah, but no, wait,
that's the difference.
Hold on. Okay, but also when you think about it, there isn't really that kind of predatory culture. There isn't really that predatory culture in the female gender. Like there isn't really that, okay, women are being creepy and perving on men and let's say forcing themselves on men and so forth. No,
because men are expected to do the first
No, but I'm talking about like in a predatory, not very nice way. So I'm not surprised that guy didn't get any yeses because it's weird and creepy.
No, he wasn't. He was actually very confident. It depends on how you deliver that, of course.
Of course, but okay, there has to be probably some sort of context as well. Like
he was actually pretty hot.
Right, but it doesn't matter. Even if I don't know, Will Smith or whoever walked up to me and said that, I would be like, dude, man, come on.
It doesn't really matter the
come on, like no.
Yeah, listen, there are lots of reasons why a woman would reject such an offer, from social stigma to a lot of good reasons you might say no to this, and I totally get it, and not saying that this is not the point. The point is, what I was saying is that it's completely different. The experience for a guy means to get laid is for a woman to get a commitment. Commitment meaning into a relationship, because you can get laid with every guy, but to get a commitment is something different. You know what I mean?
I mean, it just depends on the woman, it depends on where she's at in her life, it depends on what she wants.
I get it.
No, because you make it sound like every single woman wants commitment and babies and all that kind of stuff and that thing. Some women don't want that relationship.
That's
Some
true.
women just want to be independent and free. Like you said, they want to be feminists and they want to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And they want to be princesses but also have their own, hold their own. So you can't...
Yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Okay, would you agree that when we were talking about like in general, normally it's not the guy who's seeking the commitment. Normally, like in most cases, not in all cases, but most of the time, it's the woman who wants get a commitment. The guy usually is expected to do the first steps to get the first initial relationship going, because he needs to prepare for the date, he needs to do the approaching.
I can say in most cases I have come across more women who not commitment. But I have also come across men who actually want a relationship.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of men.
They want children. They want family.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But that's a normal dynamic, and so men are very much expected to still the same. Women still treat men under the same standards they did 50 years ago when it comes to dating. They still want them to do the initial approaching. They still want the man to take all of these things that they wanted 50 years ago.
It depends, but yeah.
It holds true almost all the time.
So are you trying to say that's a bad thing or what?
No, it's only a bad thing when they at the same time, it's okay because I think it's natural. I think it's the normal thing.
Okay, so
What's bad about it is when they want the cake and eat it too.
I don't get it. What is wanting the cake and eat it? So
it means that you date as we did 50 years ago, but at the same time you say, okay, now 50-50 relationships, and we are now this egalitarian feminist new
what
relationship.
does that even mean? Because it kind of sounds like you're like, well, I don't want to pay for her. I don't want to prepare for the date. I just want to fuck her and just go. And she should be happy with that because I just don't want to be doing all this stuff. Like, that's what it sounds like to me.
No, not necessarily, but it's hypocritical when...
Well, what's hypocritical about it? The man will pay, he's going to seek out the woman. So I don't get it. What is it? With a lot of these men who want to be served, they don't want to step up. They want the woman to seek them out.
That's not cool.
So what's the complaint? I don't get it.
There is no complaint.
It sounded like it.
No, there's no complaint as long as the woman also plays her feminine part.
Which is what?
Because the problem is when there's so many women that try to be men and masculine, and they have this masculine energy, and they're most of the time just angry, and they have this problem like that they shit. I mean, I can give you an example that just happened 3 days ago. like Ricarda Lang she's the part of the German government. She's like totally crazy when she goes to the Taylor Swift concert and posts the Instagram post that says "fuck the patriarchy" and our government.
Well, that's not her being masculine, is it though?
I would say it's just obnoxious.
Yeah, so that's not her being masculine.
No.
Okay,
It's just a stupid example, but there's a lot of, you might not feel it because you don't get the end of the stick.
No, I understand what you're talking about in terms of a lot of women being masculine. However, I would say that's also society driven though. You're in a world where you're constantly stressed out. The space isn't really held for you to be in your feminine energy. A lot of men aren't really stepping up in that game for you to feel safe and secure in your feminine. And so there's a lot of dynamics and a lot of factors there.
I agree, yeah. A lot of guys are not masculine.
Yeah, as well.
They're completely gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it also depends too. So, I mean, it could be lots of things too, like the diet they're eating, like everything, like all sorts of things could contribute to that. And also women being masculine.
But most of it, what they put into their head.
As well.
Yeah.
But okay, what would you say is a woman being feminine? Because you're saying they should play their feminine role, but they don't do it. What is the feminine role? I need you to explain that to me. What's your understanding of a feminine role from your point of view, from your age and your age group?
Well, that means that if men are expected to still like behave like men in the sense that they have to do the approaching, then you fall into that role of the receptive role, which means that also accepting that if there is a decision to make, you follow, right? So
I don't understand.
Because we now have this sentiment, like there can't be two captains on a boat. It can't be. A lot of women don't get that. This idea that we're 50-50.
Hold up. It takes two to make a relationship work. Okay?
I agree, yeah.
There may be certain roles that a man will feel more comfortable doing and a woman feeling more comfortable doing, and it's also individual as well. Automatically, if a woman's feeling very feminine, she's going to step back in a certain way, and a man will take over and lead. But it also depends. It also takes two, because you could be in a balanced relationship where it is 50-50. I don't disagree with that. I really don't.
Yeah, I do.
So you're basically saying what? As soon as you get in a relationship, woman, shut up. It's my decision.
No.
All my decisions. Be quiet. Go to the kitchen. Cook.
No, probably not like that.
Like in what way then? Give me an example.
But you want a woman to be somehow supportive of what you still want. So if you have a mission as a guy, you know what you want, right? You build something, you build a company, and then you don't want to have a fucking nightmare at home. You want to have like peace. You know, and peace means like someone who supports you, who's loyal, who's not gonna jump to the next because the grass is greener on the other side.
But that doesn't really sound like anything that's like masculine quality. That sounds like a person.
No, that's just feminine quality.
But that sounds like a person problem, like a personality trait problem.
No.
Not like a feminine or a masculine issue. That sounds like a personality trait problem. If that woman is doing that, it's because she was a shitty person, not because she was being in her masculine energy.
Well, then we have a lot of shitty persons because 80% of the divorces are made by women.
Well, maybe. Well, that's the thing. like we were saying before.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
Many issues, domestic violence.
And this is why a lot of
could
guys don't
be
want to
domestic.
anymore.
Well, to be honest with you, that's not an issue either. I personally am somebody who doesn't want to get married. I believe in committed.
Me neither.
We agree on something.
Let's go there.
I'm somebody who doesn't believe in marriage. Well, marriage. I believe in commitment, but you don't have to have that piece of paper to say I love you or we're together and we're in this for the long run. You know.
I think marriage makes sense. This is like a contract you have. It makes it a little bit stronger, the commitment, if you have it. If you're planning to have children, it does make sense. Endure so many centuries, there must be some...
I don't know if it's... I mean, yeah, but...
Or even millennia. It has been like this institution that was actually...
Exactly.
It was actually... I think it was invented to protect women, not from polygamous men.
I don't know. I feel like it was something to do with more so the church and government and control rather than protection of women.
No, it's actually...
se.
I would actually... The biggest beneficiary is are women, because when a guy... Because you, traditionally, in the past, if she would lose the guy in that moment, unprotected, right?
Okay, you mean financially and so forth?
In every way.
Right.
So women needed to make sure that would not happen, right?
I mean, I think it's probably for many reasons, but I feel like that's just something that happened, but that wasn't the main reason for marriage and the institution of marriage. I feel like that's more of like a legal law. It's all about money as well, because if you get married, it's money. If you're getting divorced, it's money.
Well, now, but when it was invented, we're talking about how did they come up? What was the initial purpose, idea of inventing such a concept like marriage, right?
And you think the main concept was to protect women?
Yeah.
Do you feel like a woman also invented it too? Because it probably was a man who invented it.
Probably, I don't know. Maybe it was a man, maybe it's a woman, but it doesn't really matter. But I think the purpose of the contract, the social contract, was to protect women and the offspring.
I kind of feel like I said, that's one of the benefits that came out of it. The only way we can squash that, which we can definitely do, is a quick, massive Google search.
I'm not entirely sure about that either, but I feel like that's the reason.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. So yeah, but
okay.
It wasn't that controversial today.
No, today it was good. Today we're on a good note.
Okay, guys, so this was it today about gender dynamics and
relationships.
How to get laid in 2024. See you in the next video. So very important. So first of all, we want to know what is your relationship status right now. Let us know, and also you cannot forget to
like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, thank you.
Woo!
See you. Bye.
Ciao.